I'm gonna nerd out about this word
All
bearers, dude, and none of you can stop me.
I am now syncing my podcast. So we're going to begin the podcast with a not podcast related topic.
Yeah, this
on.
has nothing. This has nothing to do with the podcast, but I have been reading the word bearers omnibus, and there is a word bearer who his like specific psyker ability is summoning. That's like what he is the best at, and this motherfucker can summon like an unprecedented amount of demons at any given time, to the point where the Dark Eldar captured him. He got on their ship, removed his fucking like null implant that they put on him, then Slanesh herself, she who thirsts, spoke to him and was like, "Oh, I'ma help you out." And then he breathed out this like pink mist, and it filled the entire like Dark Eldar ship, and just like Slanesh demonettes just infinite spawned forever until they were all dead. Like he can just like he just has the ability and the self-will to conjure as many demons as necessary. And he also he fought the Tyranids off by summoning a bunch of fucking like bloodletter corn demons, and he was just like, "Oh, Tyranids can't beat demons," and he was fucking right.
You know what? That's a Twitch exclusive for you guys only watching live. Should we do the actual introduction stuff? Because I feel like
we could do the Oh yeah, of course.
Take it away, Jordan.
Okay. I gotta clear my throat. God, my brain's so scattered. I've been doing so much shit recently. Let me scroll up to where Casca was talking about what we were supposed to do for today's like general format.
Just do the introduction of like who the hell we are. I'm Casca Boom. Yeah. The Librarius.
Fuck, let me get my voice buttery. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Librarius podcast featuring Casca, Knock, and myself, Jordan. Casca and Knock, how are you doing today as we discussed the Lost Legions?
I'm very tired from too much anatomy research, but I have espresso in my hand, so I'm good.
I just hit the gym, brother. I'm ready.
Yo, what did you work out, though?
I did back and abs today.
Oh, bitch.
I did legs this Monday.
So
it has nothing to do about Warhammer.
So to give you guys a little bit of a plan of what we have, we're talking about the Lost Legions. I am going to cover the down and dirty, extremely boring, dry reasoning as to why these legions are not in canon, and then Jordan is going to give us me and his joint fan theory as to what the Lost Legions are. And Knock, if you have one, you go ahead and say it as well, and then we're just do a big long Q&A and bullcrap session until we fill out the hour.
Cool.
Yeah, this is the open.
Yeah.
This is much like the Lost Legion. This episode will not be known of much either. It's just bleh.
So the lost episode.
The lost episode.
So brief overview. There are 20 Stardaze legions that were originally founded. We know of 18. We have a Primarch and a legion name for 18 of them. 2 of them are stricken from the record. And by that, for anyone new to the Warhammer world, I don't mean, oh, there's a little bit. I mean, there is nothing. Nada, zip, zero. There is nothing. Just absolutely nothing of them. So the real reason they did it is that GW, in many of their rule books, their codexes, their supplements, everything, they have always said, hey, do the World Eaters suck to you? Are the Blood Angels a little too emo for your liking? Is Vulcan a bitch in your eyes? Well, make your own legion. Go ahead, make your own Traitor Legion. Go ahead and make your own Loyalist Legion. You just basically use the same rule book. They did this for the Tyranids, the Dark Eldar, the Eldar, the Guardsmen as well. Because GW really does want to allow things like this podcast to exist. They want fan theories to exist. They want you to be able to paint your own models. They don't want people to feel restricted in their hobby. So they left holes for us to fill out so that we could have our own particular brand of fun. Because sometimes Warhammer isn't fun, as we talk to things about like the Dark Eldar, who are murder rapists, literally. So yeah, but that's the down and dirty reason. They want you to let your imagination flow, and it's very wonderful to do.
I do genuinely appreciate that they like full aside. I do genuinely appreciate that they're like, your homebrew can be canon to you. Go ahead. Like,
Yeah,
like
I agree.
I appreciate that. That's fun.
Yeah, they
That's
don't.
a really good thing to like have to engage a little bit more with the fans, to have people feel more immersed into the universe, is to have you all create your own legion and all that stuff. But on the from my side, who don't really create legions or anything, I feel like please give us a better explanation to why they're lost. Just anything.
Yeah.
Well, there is an explanation that's just like they did. I think it's something vague mentioned like 1 or 2 times. It's like they did something so terrible they could never be talked about forever or some shit like that. But that it's a very like blanket, non-informative statement.
Yeah. It was the answering to the how is a raven like a writing desk answer, where they just threw a bone and that was the end of it. Yeah, that it's a very short segment because really there's not a lot to it. GW just wants you to be creative, and you know, maybe you want to play the white scars and you want to have a bunch of dudes on bikes, but you looked at the concept of painting an all-white army and cried yourself to sleep and then chose any other color besides just white.
I feel like that was maybe a little bit too close to home for me.
That was personal.
I like yellow. Dude.
Have you ever tried to paint an all-white model and make it not look like ass? It is hell. It is hell on this earth.
No,
I have not tried. I have exclusively painted bright red and bright blue figure.
Here, I'll give you an exact equivalent, Mr. Writer. I want you to go back and rewrite the first 3 chapters of your book using nothing but hunt and peck, but you can only use your pinky.
I'm okay.
Yeah,
you know,
that's honestly, that's the sound I hear in my head when people are like, paint your models white. No, like I know I found a dude online who painted a 20,000 point guard models with 8,000 infantry, solid white and gray, and I could not understand what would compel a human being to do that.
That's insane. There is, however,
the same
I just
people
realized
that
that before we get to the theories, there's actually one thing that's actually confirmed with one of the legions. I think it was the second legion.
Ooh.
You know, there was something called like the Xenocide or something. There's some event.
Where they isn't that the event where the fighting legions were siding with the Xenos to fight back against the Astartes who were taking over everything? Is that what you're referring to? Because I'm not very familiar, because I was under the same impression as Jordan, where there was just nothing on these legions at all.
Yeah, I thought it was
still nothing, but there is a document saying that the right here, the defenders, a part of the defenders were the second legion. So the second legion was part of the it's called Rangdan Xenocides. If you look it up on the wiki as well, it does say the second legion, which is kind of
so they were defenders. I'm sorry, they were defenders where? They were defenders of Terra?
Let me just check real quick. Imperium of Man. Let me see where this took place though.
It's like there's been a lot of defenses. Like
they're from the Interrex. I'll link you
the page so you can look into it a little bit more.
But yeah, while we're looking,
the 11th Legion was also there.
Let's go ahead and move ahead to Jordan. Why don't you? Because I feel you are going to do this particular fan theory a little bit more justice. Our joint fan theory as to what our lost legions were.
Yes. Okay. So now I will say up front, this theory does require theoretically it's a very small amount of
Don't even acknowledge that change. Just don't acknowledge it.
Okay, yeah.
It makes the theory better because it's not worth acknowledging.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. All right. Anyway, so my theory and Casca's theory and a lot of other people's theories are that both of the lost legions are female Astartes legions, one of which fell to chaos and retreated into the warp, the other of which was sent to go fight them and like find them. The Emperor then would strike these two from the record so that he wasn't like letting the rest of his fucking children know that there were a bunch of like chaos traitor Primarchs and legions and people prior to the events of the Horus Heresy.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. It's like and this is something I get when I pitched it on my TikTok, asking people like what their fan theories were, like going into several lives. A lot of people, pretty much every single Warhammer TikTok creator, both male and female, has relatively this theory. I personally don't. To make it make more sense in my head, it makes more sense that they both succumb to chaos. Rather than one. I get why you would want one loyalist and one not loyalist,
because it just evens out the numbers, frankly.
Because it just evens out the numbers and it just gives you that option, and I like that. But I don't know. Maybe I guess it does make sense because the Emperor did try to he tried very hard to hide the fact that chaos even existed.
Yeah.
Like, period. Like, he fought very. He did it. I guess no. Never mind. I'm going to retract what I said because now playing it through my head with that, it does make a lot more sense that he would fight off that, because that was important to him. So
yeah. Also, the reason I say make them women is because it's just have women as Stardays. You're in the fucking super future with goddamn crazy magic and science. Just make them girls. Fucking A.
Well, what we talked about before, well, maybe not in this podcast, where they were supposed to be originally women in the 40K universe. They wanted 35% of their models to be female across all of the races except for the Tyranids, because the Tyranids are a sexless bug race. So, they're all girls, they're all guys, who cares? But it just because of marketing, the female models fell out of favor.
Yeah, they pulled the female one.
Yeah, because still were complaining, because GW has this weird thing. I'm not sure if this was true in the 80s, but at least from the late 90s on, GW has a rule that if you're going to if you want to sell any of their product, you must hold all of their product. Like, you must have at least one item of every single thing that GW makes in your store. So,
like, you have to have like some Age of Sigmar thing, and
yeah, like, for example, I knew a game store owner in Oregon, and he was mad because nobody plays the Lord of the Rings game in America, but it's very popular in Europe. So he's like, yeah, I've had this Lord of the Rings Fellowship box set that's been on my shelf for like 10 years. The Warhammer stuff is flying off the shelves left and right, but I can't sell this one box that I have to have.
Oh, okay, I got you. I get what you're saying.
So, I can see why the stores were a little annoyed, but also remember, to anyone who maybe knew, that Warhammer was created in 1986. So this was a time in which women were not, both from the inside and outside, really welcome into the nerd fandoms. And GW has, to GW's credit, they have acknowledged this problem. By the fan base basically telling them that the reason that women play Age of Sigmar more than they play 40K is because there's more representation, and they've worked with characters like they have actually worked to put female characters, especially in the Guard books, as forefront. Like for example, Arminka Lanks, who is my favorite guardsman, is a forefronter in the story telling the fall of Cadia and then the revival of the Cadian honor after the loss of Cadia. So they have a female character very much in the forefront of their books.
Yeah, so this is a thing that Games Workshop has identified as a problem and something that they want to fix by adding more female characters. And in turn, it was something Games Workshop from the beginning wanted more females of. And so I think the 2 Lost Legions are just a good way to add that kind of injection that even Games Workshop and the player base itself wants as an inclusion.
Also, just like a funny thing, right? This is like a funny story I have in my head. So like the Lost Legions are the way they are, right? Just like, imagine the story. The good Legion never succumbed to chaos and comes back out of the warp and runs into an orc tribe. Can you imagine the shock on the orc's face when he hears a girl's voice? He's like, what? Just like I've been fighting Astartes for thousands of years, and they all sound like these masculine, ripped Hulk dudes, and all of a sudden you're here, but you're also still 9.5 feet tall, and you're killing me with a chainsaw sword. Oh no!
Would the orcs care? I think the Dark Eldar would care, but would the orcs care? Wouldn't the orcs just kind of be like?
I think the orcs would be. I think the orcs would find it weird.
Yeah, orcs would be DACA, exactly.
Orcs would find it weird, but I don't think they would ultimately care. Like, they would care for a little bit. Like, there would be a little twist of their eyes, and then they would just be like, "Oh, right, we're fighting."
Yeah, a half-second eye twitch of like, something seems different, but I'm gonna punch it.
Yeah. So Knock, do you have any fan theories about the Lost Legions in general?
I do, but it's way less in depth, and it doesn't have a root in anything other than I think it's cool.
Yeah, fucking throw it out, bro. I want to hear
go, Burrow, go. We want. I mean, I have this theory because I think it would be cool to have female, 9-foot tall females ripping people's faces off.
It would be fucking badass. But my theories could still work with that, and that's when the Emperor was rediscovering all of the Primarchs. Since there's kind of an order, it also again doesn't have roots in anything. But I like to think that he discovered these two Primarchs together, like kind of in the same time frame. He probably didn't, but I like the theory. And the fact that he found them pretty much fighting at different sides in a war. Bear with me now. And they were at the point of like, fuck that piece of shit. That's the enemy. I am going to slaughter him or her. And when the Emperor came down to reason with them, he couldn't sway them both. So he decided the lesser of two evils, well, I'll fucking kill them both. I can't have two death machines running around fighting each other. That's insane. Horus Heresy. But I just like the idea of him discovering two Primarchs that happen to have landed sort of close and is at a full-on war with each other. I think that's cool.
Like, the conflict of those Primarchs may have started prior to them being discovered as Primarchs.
Well,
exactly.
That actually leads into another, the Dornus heresy. Have you guys ever been aware of this fan theory? Sorry, this alternate
heresy.
It's the Dorus heresy, and what it is that the actual theory is that the Horus heresy happens, but when Horus is like succumbing to chaos, he beats it off and fucks them off and tells them to go away, and then they go out and they corrupt Dorn instead, and Dorn leads the heresy.
Oh, like this is just like an alternate reality.
It's just an alternate reality where Horus was tempted, stayed true, and then Dorn was the one who succumbed.
I think it's cool, but how the hell did they like decide Dorn of all the other Primarchs?
I mean,
what the hell, guys?
I mean, it really. I think the reason they went with Dorn was like, who are you gonna get to be a leader of them? Because like, you're not turned into Magnus. Like, you're not. I'm sorry, you're not turning to Magnus as your glorious leader to swoop in and lead your heresy. And you're not turning to Angron because yes, he could wipe out everybody, but he's not leading troops. He's not leading a couple of legions of men. So I think Dorn, who's because he's got a little bit of defiance in him, because he's not completely loyal already to the Emperor, because he kind of calls the Emperor out on his shit like a lot, especially in the first book, and he calls out Horus on his shit. He calls out people on their shit a lot, so he already kind of has that little level of defiance in him. Because like I've said it before, like the reason he picks Logar, the reason he votes Logar to be Horus's right-hand man during the original heresy was because he's like, yeah, Logar, we need somebody who will, remind Horus that he's being a dumbass sometimes and not just follow him like a fucking sheep,
I want to just kind of where this theory doesn't sit well with me. And yet, well, the Dorn fanboy has a problem with Dorn being bad. I get it.
I mean, I have a problem. It doesn't make sense to me either. This is just a theory I've heard.
Oh yeah, no, but the just I want to just add to this that Rogel Dorn is said to have, well, unyielding will, and it got to the point that I'm not sure again if this is canon. I'm going to have to check that up, but it got to the point that it is thought that he basically bends the warp around him to pretty much numb it completely due to his, well, due to him being a stubborn piece of shit,
You know,
pretty much.
Well, he also like, because now that I'm doing a little bit more research into the Imperial Fists, my hatred has waned because I found out that one of the reasons the Cadians fight the way they do is they try to emulate the Imperial Fists. Is because the Imperial Fist whole thing is they will hold the line, and they're not very good at, like, the Imperial Fists aren't very good at advancing as far as Astartes go, but they are very good at holding the line, and that's what Cadians are also very good at. And so, you know, they have that unyielding will because, like, the Cadians are going to be less brave and less loyal than any Astartes, and the Cadians stuck behind and held off demons until their planet literally cracked underneath their feet. Like, so it makes me feel a little weird that Dorn would do that.
Yeah, would do that.
Also, Dorn is not, like, it's weird that they picked Dorn and not like Leon Johnson, because I cannot think of
Lionel Johnson's petty fucking stupid ass would have absolutely betrayed the Emperor. Holy shit.
Because here's the thing about
Bro,
Dorn.
I'll write you a fucking 45-page peer-reviewed paper on why Lionel Johnson would have fucking sacrificed everyone he gave two shits about.
Oh my god.
Well, because, like, back onto the Rugel Dorn and defending Dorn, because, like, one of the reasons that Horus falls is Horus is kind of emotional, he's kind of temperamental, he kind of has like an ego issue. Dorn doesn't fucking have that, like, because it was really funny because in the book, the Horus, because I'm still in book 1, the other Primarchs and people are kind of bashing Dorn. They're like, you know, like, you're being recalled to Terra to, like, set up defenses, you're not going to be on the front line. And he's just like, listen, I'm going to go back, I'm going to set up defenses, and because of how strong and powerful my legion is, we will be fighting in these legions and fighting in this war long after your race has been wiped out it doesn't matter. So he's got this, like, cool and collected head where, like, I just don't think, because he's not embarrassed to, like, do certain things, you know. He's not heartbroken that Daddy walked away and wasn't supporting them, like, you know, like Horus was.
I still, just to add to the Rogel thing, before I'm trying to get back on topic as well, but just quickly, I just think it's adorable.
Our topic is Rogel, just fan theory, so we're on topic.
Yeah, but I just think it's adorable how Rogel sleeps with his grandpa's blanket, or used to sleep. I mean, he's fucking dead, but
bro, I
think that's so cute,
dude. It is adorable. It is adorable, and I actually do like the Imperial Fists, and I like Rogel Dorn. But straight up, full stop, how's your Legion curse gonna be being sad?
And I gotta ask a question about the blanket thing. It is very weird that this guy probably punched a man's head off, and then went, I got my blankie. That was a line of thought in Rugel Dorn's day was, I punched a man's head flat and then grabbed my blankie and went and took a nap.
There's two things you don't fuck with when it comes to a strong-willed man, and that's his hot chocky and his fucking blankie. Not touch this. I will hurt you.
Does he have marshmallows?
He does have marshmallows, and sometimes his fingies get burnt if he touches the cup too soon.
I do want to know, like, because you know how, like, we have a level of, like, here's a weird fan theory that we're gonna spawn right now. So, like, the humans, we can take our hot drinks on average between 160 and 180 degrees, which is just below boiling. How hot of coffee can a Primarch drink?
Dude,
Oh, ridiculous. Dude, Mortarion took shots of chlorine like it was fucking whiskey. There's no way in hell they couldn't drink boiling water.
Like,
my man, I was freaking out because when you said, oh, just about under 160, I'm like, bitch, that's like 60 degrees over boiling, and then I realized America. So
yeah, sorry. I actually, the only reason I know how hot coffee is because I've had to defend the old lady who got coffee spilled on her at McDonald's. Okay, it's the only reason.
Oh yeah,
I know.
because
I just
way too fucking hot. She got 3rd-degree burns from that shit.
I want to let you know, 160 Celsius is 320 Fahrenheit. That's how hot I thought it was.
I believe that's not water anymore. I believe you just have vapor. I believe it's all gone.
That is steam.
Plasma.
Jesus. Yeah. You've just invented plasma. You've just invented a melt-a-gun.
However, real quick, on the concept of fucking Dorn and his blankie, I genuinely love that, and because I was talking to somebody about this the other day, and I really, really like a lot of the Primarchs that like when you think of like the really good Primarchs, people like Dorn, people like Sanguinius, stuff like that. I really like a lot of the Astartes and a lot of the Primarchs because I think they're a very good representation of non-toxic masculinity in fiction. Now, obviously, people like Angron do not fall into that category. I'm not talking about Angron today.
Well, you're talking about you're talking about the loyalist ones that aren't Leon Johnson.
Yeah, that aren't Leon. Yeah, fuck Lionel Johnson. But because he sucks. But like when you look at like this is something because like okay, so Dorn has a blanket, and it's like, dude, having a comfort object that like makes you feel better. Like if you're living a tough life, if shit's hard, and something brings you a little bit of comfort, like who cares if it's like quote unquote childish? Like if it's a blanket that makes you feel better and you do it, like who cares? Dude, with Sanguinius would openly like cry in front of his men. Because like they would like go to like paint his face with tears and stuff, and he was like, I don't need it. I can cry in front of you. Like I don't need ceremony. This is a time to be sad. We should allow ourselves to be sad. A lot of the other Astartes, when like they go through like traumatic experiences and shit, or when they get heated and angry, like there's tons of like Garviel Loken's like a great example of this. Garviel like went through horrible shit, and instead of just like lashing out and being a dick to people, he like went and meditated until he was like calm enough to seek counsel, and then he would like go seek counsel and talk things out with people. Like I absolutely love how many representations there are of like really manly masculinity that's not being just like a horrible piece of shit.
Fun thing that I actually do like, even though he is kind of he's the mocking child of 40k loyalist, is Rupert Guilliman, and Vulcan for this matter as well.
What the fuck did you call him?
Rupert
Guilliman.
I thought it was Rabute Guilliman.
Rabute Guilliman.
It was Rabute
Guilliman.
Robo Girly Man.
Well, actually, he will. Gilliman is what I'm going to call him. He will go to on planet, and this is something he does even after waking up. Is he'll go to giant funerals held for guardsmen. Like even if he's in the area and they're holding a funeral for one guardsman who died in the line, he will go to that funeral and pay honor, because in like several of the Primarch's eyes, especially like people like Vulcan and Guilliman, is that they view just like a basic guardsman as the same as Astartes. Like there's no difference in the sacrifice that they do. And I think that's really cool that they're like, no, you don't have to be just this biggest and baddest dude to be honored and to be cool. Like, because that is like kind of a non-toxic thing of like, no, you can be the small guy and still make the great sacrifice. Because there's actually a comic, and then later you heard in a YouTube video where Ultramarine is talking to a World Eater, and the World Eater is calling all these guardsmen he have dead around him. And the Ultramarine basically calls him out and is like, dude, these guardsmen have held you and your brother and your Primarch off for the last 10,000 years. This little schmuck from Cadia, this little schmuck from Armageddon, have stopped you basically single-handedly for 10,000 years. And you're going to call them weak? Yeah, who's the really weak one? And then he blows his head up with a bolter.
And then it says, your mom, and everyone clapped.
It just says, in your, oh my god. The World Eaters would be the Traitor Legion to just with your mom's fat right before they die.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They totally would. God damn.
No, they would literally do the trick is like, oh, there's something on your shirt, and then just boing their nose. They would definitely do that.
Yeah,
No. That's not a World Eaters thing.
Oh, you know
World
what
Eaters
the
say,
World
like, there's
Eaters
something
would
on
do?
your chest, and then they just kick you in the nuts, and your nuts eject your body through your skull because you just got kneed in the nuts by a fucking space marine.
The World Eaters would do the equivalent of you'd be like, "Oh, my arm hurts," and then they'd like break your leg, and they'd be like, "Bet you're not thinking about your arm." Like,
Or like, my arm hurts. Oh man, and then they just tear off your arm. Guess it can't hurt if it's not on your body.
I will say there are some World Eaters. All right, fuck it. What I'm not about to defend the World Eaters.
No.
I think
All the World Eaters that are there are all dead because they had that weird battle where the people with the anger braids were on one side and they weren't on the other side, and all the ones that were redeemable got killed by the ones that were shitty.
Okay, fair. Well, okay, fair. However,
at a time there were redeemable World Eaters.
There were redeemable World Eaters. There's a really good conversation that happens between a World Eater and a Luna Wolf before fucking
before they both become piles of shit.
Yeah, before they both become piles of shit. Where the Luna Wolf's like, "Hey, it's kind of fucked up what you do, like just being absolute terrible menaces all the time." And the World Eater was like looking at he was looking at like a museum piece, basically, like contemplating art and history. And he turned and he was like, and he was like very like regal almost, like as if he was like a blood angel or like an emperor's children or child or something like that. And he was like, look, what we do isn't cool. It's not fun, but it's gross and it's necessary, because when you get to a place like what would be like Cadia or something, where just you can't get through and you need to just demoralize people and win a war, like that's when you send us in, and like you can't do that, but we can. So don't look down on us. And I was like, oh, that's kind of an interesting point.
Well, like that's because I'm in a medical field, and that's a lot of like what we do, because like we will sometimes cause pain upon a person in order to make them better. Like, for example, when you pop someone's shoulder,
the Hippocratic Oath.
You try to do as much good as as much good as you can with the minimum amount of bad, but you don't always have to negate the bad. And so that's kind of an interesting concept, because like the Astartes, like at least like even like Logar is just like, yeah, this is kind of like he doesn't want people to know like what Astartes do, because he's like, this what we do is really horrible.
Yeah,
and like
it's fucked.
Like I was just reading in the first book, for example, like how scary and these things are. These people, Logar's Legion, the Lunar Wolves, are the most heartless people in the world. They were going up on the planet where Samus is. They were going up with people with muskets, chainmail, and swords. And this is where they decide, hey, you know what would be a good place to whip out Terminator armor?
Terminator armor.
Yeah, they do a Terminator armor. Yeah. Our indestructible armor wasn't good enough. We made better armor, and then we suck it on people who were basically living in the European Dark Ages. And we wonder why they were a little resentful.
I would just say, unless you have something to say just about that specific segment, Jordan, I have a pretty quick, interesting thing about the Lost Legions.
Hit me with it. Oh, I actually have. I also have a Lost Legion thing to follow up Nox. So go ahead.
Hit me.
I thought about Lost Legions and falling to chaos. And after thinking for a while, I kind of also just thought of the idea of, well, if they fell to chaos, wouldn't the chaos gods know about them? And wouldn't the chaos gods in that case just say, hey, you had two other brothers, they fell to chaos?
That's
like,
actually
wouldn't
go on.
Wouldn't like Slanesh or anyone that trying to influence the others, wouldn't they just say, hey, if the two other motherfuckers just did it, you could do it?
This actually leads into something I was going to bring up, if you don't mind me butting in, Jordan, just because it segues real nice. Is that one of the other fan theories I heard online was that Horus was not the first brother to fall, that these other two people are the first ones who fell, and the reason why they weren't picked up by chaos is the Emperor was the one who found them going down, and he did not do anything. He just exterminatus the two, or Horus exterminatus the two. is what I would believe. So like, that's kind of the fan theory. Is like these the 2 legions fell. They found the legions and were like, oh boy, and they just nuked the planet that they were on. And just were like, nope, we're not doing that anymore.
Yeah, like we're getting ahead of this.
Boys.
Yeah.
Is that similar to what you were gonna say, Jordan?
No, mine's a completely new theory. I thought of it while I was sitting here in this chair. Like during the podcast, I had this thought.
Those are always, well, except for the ones I had last time we were talking, but go ahead.
So this is a completely different theory about the 2 lost legions, but hear me out. And this is very loose, and it's not nearly as cool as the ones we've brought up so far. And I would prefer those be the real ones, like fucking 2 lost legions to whatever. But there's only one legion that has 2 Primarchs, the Alpha Legion. And so what if you just had 2 kind of non-effective legions, each run by a blood brother, i.e. Alfarius and Omegon? They didn't do that good. They kind of suffered like an Emperor's Children reset where they just lost like a fuckload of people. And so they merged them into one legion and they just made the Alpha Legion, and then boom.
Huh. Well, that's the thing.
That has got to be the single most boring fan theory.
Oh yeah, it's crazy boring. It's super boring. But in my head, I just was like, huh.
So let me.
My God, I'd rather listen to a pep speech by Rupert by freaking Gulliman than that.
Oh my God. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. I just want to check. So you're basically saying one of the legions pretty much got merged into the Alpha Legion, and that's how there's 2 Primarchs?
I'm saying the 2 lost legions were 2 legions, and they merged into one. Yeah.
Oh well, in that case.
But then you're still missing a Primarch.
19.
Yeah, we're still missing
also,
a Primarch.
Yeah, well, I mean, yes, but also it doesn't make sense furthermore because there is a canonical explanation and beginning to Alfarius and Omegon, and it's not that. So like
Alfarius and Omegon look exactly the same, to the point that when one of them got killed, you're not completely sure which one it was. So it's to the point of, yes, that if that were to happen, that would make sense. But well, first of all, there would be 19 legions also in that case, or unless you're saying that both of those legions
merged into one and then were exterminated.
Yeah, and then also on top of that, if you look at the Primarchs, they are all very distinct looks. And if there were 2 different Primarchs not related to each other, it'd be hard to get them to look the same. I mean, I guess like some people, oh yeah, they're both bald, they have the same hair, but like
they're both bald.
If you take a look at, for example, Conrad Curse and Fulgrim, you'd see there's similarities. They're both edgy as fuck, but they look very different.
I mean, in Sanguinius and what's the other red dude? I can't remember. I don't know actually all the Primarchs' names.
The other red dude?
Ferris? Yeah, Ferris.
Ferris, yeah. Wait, Ferris isn't red. Ferris is all black.
I'm
the other legion that has red armor is the Word Bearers, but they have ruby red armor. It's a different red.
Are you maybe thinking of?
I honestly don't remember the name.
Just okay. I'm gonna look up all the Primarchs to see who looks similar.
I'm looking up images right now because it's a pretty. There it is.
There's
Horus Heresy. What is it? Fulgrim. There we fucking go. God damn.
Yeah, Fulgrim and Sanguinius do look fairly similar, and also they have a friendship based off of the fact that Fulgrim literally looked at Sanguinius and was like, "You're the only one that's not gross. Like you can make a painting," and then they became friends.
Because Sanguinius is canonically the second hottest Primarch.
He's the first hottest.
No, he is not canonically the first hottest. As much as we want him to be, Jordan, he is not canonically.
It is actually Fulgrim, if I'm correct, right?
No, it's Leon Johnson. Leon's canonically. Leon is canonically the prettiest. Is canonically the prettiest Primarch. He was.
That's not true. You can't tell me that.
No, it's Rogel. But either way,
it's not Rogel. Rogel looks like Sylvester. Rogel looks like Sylvester Stallone. Okay, bro. Like.
Oh yeah,
Rogel's literally a square of fucking rockcrete that they put onto a person.
You know what? I called Rogel an actor, and I'm gonna say that's handsome.
Listen, Rogel is a box with a gun.
Wait, hang on. I'm looking up if anybody has said. I'm pretty sure the canonical who.
Listen, Jordan, I'm not gonna tell you right now. If I am wrong about my perceived knowledge of this, who is the hottest Primarch, I will be happy. I will be happy to knock
List of Primarchs from most to least hot. All right, give it.
Can I just
boom, Sanguinius number 2.
You...
Oh shit, Rogel Dorn's number 2.
Really?
Bitch!
Who's number 1?
No,
Sanguinius.
Sanguinius is number 1? Yes! There's a redemption!
I just want to ask, how the fuck did Magnus turn red?
Because he turned into a demon.
Yeah.
Wait, what? So he like just instantly turned into a demon?
Yeah, Magnus's physical form is based on whatever he wants it to be because he's like crazy good psyker dude.
Yeah.
So wait, so the Emperor made him not red, and then he just said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna be red." Whole lot of red, and then he just started fucking be red. That didn't make any sense, but you know what I mean. So he basically just turned red because cool.
Well, he also liked to, he uses his psychic powers a lot because he liked to use it a lot.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay,
fair enough.
Yeah, true.
He was a wizard. He was a rune priest.
I cannot find a single image of fucking Magnus that isn't him demonized.
Being red. Yeah.
Magnus the normal skin color. Magnus the not red.
Please tell me Magnus' normal skin color is like that Photoshop picture of Guy Fieri, but just as like a normal person, so he looks like a dad.
I am not Googling Magnus' normal skin color. That is just going to lead down a hole.
While you're there, every single person listening to this podcast, pause it and go look up Guy Fieri, but normal.
Why was this the thing that showed up when I searched for Magnus not red?
Send it. Are you sending it? Did you send it in the Discord? Oh.
Yeah,
what? Who is that guy?
I don't know. Magnus, but not red.
Obi.
That's the good psyker.
Do we have any questions that need answered from anybody's chats?
Are you streaming too, Jordan?
I'm not streaming. I wasn't sure if you guys were.
Oh, I think it's just me. I don't have a lot of questions. I don't have anybody popping any questions in my chat right now.
All right, cool. We can just keep talking about shit. Hey, remember the time?
I have one question to you guys.
Oh, what's your question?
Okay, so I have a picture of all the Primarchs here.
Right,
handsome men, beautiful men. Besides Sanguinius.
What fucking? Come on.
I heard I don't know if I'm sure I haven't asked this before, but just to check, I've heard that there's a theory that 2 of the Primarchs, I think maybe Jagatai Khan and Fulgrim, when they were sent out to the warp, Siege kind of just went, psych, you thought, and switched their planets to pretty much, just fuck with the Emperor. And the Emperor, being the big psychic man he was, knew that heresy probably would happen, and then he kind of just didn't expect Fulgrim to be in on it.
I mean,
because of that planet switch, it became pretty much that, and Jagatai Khan stayed loyal. Is that too far-fetched?
Not necessarily. I mean, I think the Emperor is a pretty smart is not the word that I should use, but like I think
pretty
the
decent dude.
I think he could. I think the Emperor knew. Oh my god, I choked on myself. Sorry. I think the Emperor knew that some heresy was coming. There's no fucking way he didn't know.
You just choked on your heresy, dude.
I just choked on my heresy. That's not my heresy, actually. I'm saying the Emperor was so smart that he could perceive all that shit.
I'm pretty sure him and the motherfucking smaller version of him,
Malkador?
Yeah, Malkador pretty much both kind of knew.
Yeah, because Malkador set up the Inquisition prior to the attack on Terra in suspect of shit going against the Emperor.
Yeah, and shout out Malkador. Rest in peace, my homie. Forever missed, forever loved. Swag.
Absolutely pouring out for Malkador the Sigilate.
Okay, so I actually did find the reason why Magnus, and turns out all of the Thousand Sons are red. originally in color, is that basically, yeah, it was the first sign of Magnus's fall. Even when he was a kid, he was just so psychically there that his skin changed color for some reason.
Okay. So he's just so connected to the warp that he looks like a bloodthirster.
Yeah, because he makes Sanguinius, as far as, I mean, this guy even makes Mephiston look like a fucking bitch.
No,
as far as
Magnus' psychic powers are like unrivaled.
Yeah, the only person who could stand up to him in psychic powers is the Emperor. By the way, I have to tell you, so there's this dude on TikTok, does Wes Hammer, and he turned me on to this. Are you aware that the only being in the entire 40k universe that knows how to kill a demon permanently is Gulliman? Because the Emperor's sword not only kills you, it evaporates your soul from existence, and he wields it now.
Huh.
Yeah.
So I did not know that.
So like,
that's big.
So like, Tzeentch could show up, fight Gulliman. If Gulliman somehow gets his sword into Tzeentch, like, there's just no more Tzeentch. That's it. That's it.
Why don't Gulliman just fight? What a big nerd, am I right? He just stays at home.
Just woke up. Hey. I'm about to be on my Blood Angels propaganda. A random brother number 5. Okay, fucking random brother number 5.
But you know what? Your Primarch is dead. Fuck you.
More brave. Your Primarch's dead. Dorn's deader than a doornail.
I was gonna say, okay, for those of you that don't know, Brother Sergeant Raffin of the Blood Angels is like the most OP single Space Marine ever, because he literally wielded the blood of Sanguinius in himself, and he also wielded the Spear of Telesto, which was Sanguinius's spear, and then he also in single combat defeated a avatar of Malphalax, who is a greater demon prince of Tzeentch, and Raffin beat him in one-on-one combat before he was a sergeant, when he was like just a brother. Also,
so for anybody, so just to describe that, because I do know some people in my chat are kind of new, describe to you what a demon prince of Tzeentch is. So Tzeentch is the entire manifestation of every sentient being's thought on change, chance, and planning. So every thought anyone's ever had, he is the physical manifestation of that in the material. And this guy
decided to go to Olive Garden. You helped Tzeentch.
Yeah, and this guy who Raffin fought is like one of this guy's lieutenants in his army. Effectively a general is what a demon prince is. So he fought a general in that dude's army. So this was no bitch fight. This was like God versus God.
Yeah, this was and he fucking beat him. And he also injected himself with the blood of Sanguinius and uppercutted Fabius Bile hard that like
that is not as impressive as you think it is. Because
injecting yourself with the blood of a Primarch?
Because remember, in becoming an Astartes, you get you get not only the blood of your Primarch, you get the gene seed of your Primarch, and then on top of that, Jordan, remember that part of the passing of the test to become a Blood Angel, to become just a scout, is you have to drink Sanguinius's blood.
No. But what I'm saying is he injected himself with such a large dose that he should have been dead. Like, Sanguinius's blood running through his veins almost killed him. And after the fight, they had to like leave him on a slab where like they drained his blood from him, and like it burned, like the blood burned his veins as it like drained out of him, and like he should have died from it. Like when they give a Blood Angel blood to drink from Sanguinius, they give them like a fucking 1/100th of a teaspoon. And Raffin injected himself with like a Moderna Pfizer shot of Sanguinius's blood.
So when Nurgle invents Super COVID, Raffin is immune.
Yeah, when Nurgle invents Super COVID, Raffin will strut through that shit no trouble.
You guys have so cool stories. My Primarch is just sad, dog. Everyone's just fucking sad. We're just sitting at home crying in the club currently.
Yeah, your Primarch story is, oh man, I'm gonna stand my ground and defy the Codex. Well, we're gonna kill you. Damn, I'll have to follow the Codex.
Yeah. Says the asshole who likes the fucking Black Templar.
Hey, the Black Templar were told, hey, you guys are gonna follow the things, and they were like, yeah, we're not gonna follow. Go Dorn, and Dorn conceded, and they went, hey, guess what? We're not going to follow the Codex. We're going to be so loyal and so good at being loyal that we don't even need the Codex, and we're going to be so great at being loyal that no one's even going to come hunt us down. And we're going to be so considered so dedicated that even the fucking Inquisition and the Grey Knights use us to help them.
Yeah, and y'all, look, I'll never forgive you for what you did to my motherfucking man, Captain Titus.
I don't even know what we did to Titus. I don't even know the story.
Captain Titus went down to fight an orc war, like him.
Oh,
and he
wait a minute. Is Titus is the guy from the Space Marine game, isn't he?
Yes. The guy from the Space Marine game.
They didn't do anything to him. The order was sent.
Follow the Codex.
No, hold on a minute. That order was sent. Hold on a minute. No, you hold on a minute, sir. Good sir. Sit your ass down, mister. I don't remember this video game I played probably at least 10 times. His men called the order, saying his own bros. Yeah, his fucking and all the Astartes and all the Black Templar soul only. They're in that game for 4 minutes. All they do is waltz his ass onto a fucking Thunderhawk. That's all they do.
You know what happens? They walk his ass onto a Thunderhawk. He's never seen again, and they erect a statue of him on fucking Ultramar of Captain Titus in the Hall of Heroes. You want to know why? Because he's fucking dead. Because you took him and you killed him for no reason.
No, because you know for a fact, as well as I do, that he did have chaos in him. He did have chaos in him.
But he was chaos in him. There was no chaos in him. All he did was punch a chaos Lord man.
And also we have no and also
Ultramarine, you took him.
They were not gonna kill him. They handed him over to the Inquisition. A Grey Knight probably shot him in the face.
So about those lost legions, yeah.
No. We are settling this today. And you want to know why we are considered so loyal? Something we actually have canonically, which is the coolest aesthetic thing of any Space Marine, and I will die on this hill. The coolest aesthetic thing of any is that Black Templar chain their weapons to their bodies, so that way even if they should fall, they can still keep some of their weapons can't fall into enemy hands.
No, dude, that's like chaining your wallet to your pocket. That's not.
Wait, no, like every legion does. What are you talking about? Armor has mag locks on it. What do you mean they chain it to themselves?
No, go look up Black Templar models. You'll actually see that the physical models you can buy have actual chains that go off of their swords and off of their bolters and actually shackle them to their to their bodies. You know, it's not like a mag lock where like everybody. So yeah, I like the Black Templars. I'm willing.
I love the way you said that. Because you went, it's not like a mag lock like everybody else.
Like everybody else. We're going old school. These are kinky cuffs right here is what we have. But no. The main reason I fell in love with the Black Templars as a kid was I just fell in love with their aesthetics, and then I found them to be kind of cool later on. They used to have this one model that was like, it was the weirdest thing. 3rd edition was fucking wild, people. Let me tell you what 3rd edition had. There was a dude you could get, he was the effective champion, and if he got into combat with a squad of dudes, he would place down a force. This is what canonically happened in the game. And he would place down a force field and challenge the leader of a squad. So like if a Jaffin character was in there, he would challenge a Jaffin style person to single combat. And no one can enter the force field but them until their duel was settled. And like in the game, it was really weird because your guy would just charge a unit. Everyone would you'd have to move the models aside, and you just have these 2 hero characters sitting in the middle of this giant battlefield dueling it out with swords.
That's actually pretty fucking cool, by the way.
Yeah, because it was so honorable. They'd be like, I must kill you. And then he would have a giant sword. Oh, the Black Templars are so cool. And one thing I like about the Black Templars is they do something that GW never has done. I have bitched about this before. I will bitch about it again, and I will bitch about it ever. If you're going to make armies, and you're going to make factions in your game, and I'm looking at you two, Mr. Writers, and I will call you both out on this. If you're going to have magic in your universe, or have a special ability, and then you make a group that doesn't like that ability, they don't get to use the fucking ability. That's the end of the story. You don't get to use Rune Priests to get around them, because the Black Temple are like, Psyker's bad. They don't have Psykers. That's it. That's one of the reasons they're cool.
You're hurting yourself by not having Psykers, bro. Come on.
I agree. They are hurting themselves, but at least they're sticking to their guns.
That's fair. Also, please, for the love of God, Casca, because you're streaming, please show them the Discord picture Nox sent that says, I want the real Primarch of the Blood Ravens, and it's Magnus. And then I said the real Primarch of the Blood Ravens, and it's a Necron. And then I said the real ones, and it's the Trollger from TF.
Hold on.
Everybody gags into the search for walking.
D&D.
Nox has been sending some amazing memes in chat.
We'll do a display. We'll pop over
I'm
this
really
Discord.
waiting for you guys to duke it, like finish with duking it out.
Oh, you just wait till the Angron episode, because this is going to go on for like an hour.
I know Angron's a fucking asshole. I like him. He's fun. As a character, he's not a good person, but he's fucking cool.
Yeah, so like to show the chat, like this is what they actually do. They actually have physical chains that go down from their weapons and go. And I'm sorry, Templar symbols are cool in the same way that like runic, like Nordic root symbols are cool. It's badass, and you get them all over your armor. It's another thing that Nazis have taken from me, and I will never forgive them.
Yeah, that's fair. Reclaim shit from the Nazis. I'm all about that.
Everybody gangster to the church. Oh God! Really gives a new meaning to the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I still can't believe, what is it? Isn't there a Titan that's like the size of the state of Washington or something?
Yeah,
like that?
Yeah, that's the Imperial Battle Titan, and it's like the state of Washington. Like canonically, it's like the state of Washington, and I think it's one of the southern states. It might be Florida, where like they just made the state.
Florida's a Titan.
Hey, it finally did something useful with itself. Nah, I'm not gonna get into bashing on Florida. It's too easy.
It's not even a Titan. It's just a Florida man.
It's just this.
It's the Lost Primarch. It's a Lost Primarch.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. No, Jordan, no. Because you know for a fact there's only one Primarch, and one singular Primarch out of everybody who would be the Florida man, because he's the closest thing. No, it's not Angron, because Angron's just angry. Angron's a Texan. Let's face it. Angron's from Texas. Conrad Cruz is the Florida man. He's the guy eating people's faces off and murdering them in their sleep.
Fuck, you're right. It's Conrad
Cruz. You know, Angron's more like an Alaskan, or like a person from Montana, or a Texan, you know? You want to go with the crazy motherfucker.
You're gonna look me in the eye and tell me Mortarion isn't from Ohio.
I don't even know who Mortarion is, to be honest.
He's the fucking death guy. He's the Grim Reaper. He's literally looks like the Grim Reaper.
This is the best podcast we've ever done.
This is us talking shit for an hour straight. Why do people listen to this?
We get views, man. This is like what people do. Dude, I listen to a podcast
where
people.
This is just Casca. This is just Casca, guys. I found Casca.
You found me? What?
Yeah.
Oh, I heard he screams Cadia stands. Oh, that is Casca.
Cadia stands. God damn it. Oh, it's so rude. It's so rude that the guy who sent me this picture, that his favorite Primarchs people are basically responsible for accidentally destroying my people's home world.
Casca, I'm sorry, look at the list.
Wait, hold on. Like,
oh my God.
Oh, that's not fair. That's not fair.
Brutal. That's brutal.
It's a
Guys,
picture.
we don't have a visual podcast on Spotify. I'm sorry, but I'm sending memes.
No, I'm gonna bring that up, because that is mean, but in like a good way.
This is the lost episode.
Yeah. So This is, you always know what happened. Is like this planet of Cadia, because this is one of my favorite pieces of lore. Why I like the Cadians so much. Like the Cadians live in the Eye of Terror. Like Jordan says that this mining planet with an ice world on it is the shittiest planet. No. When you wake up and the front door to the worst place in the universe is your sky forever, that's the worst place to live on. So, and what happened is that when Abaddon, the head of all the Chaos people, decided, hey, it's time to come back, he always has to go to this one planet, and the Imperial Fist show up to defend them, and they have this sky fortress thing, these black fortresses, and these things are huge. They're like the Death Star is one part of these fortresses. Like the Death Star's got nothing on it, and the Imperial Fist actually defeated Abaddon on the Black Fortress, and his solution was, hey, we're gonna slam the Black Fortress into the planet because they can't defend what doesn't fucking exist.
Sometimes you just gotta crack a planet like an. Just remember, Casket, Cadia cracked like an egg.
I mean, it did. To be fair,
it really did.
But no,
it's okay. So did that one place that had the fucking Necron pyramid under it. Tannacrag. There we
which
go.
Which one? Like a lot of planets have cracked like an egg to Cadians.
No, I mean, there's a fucking Tannacrag was an Imperial planet that had like a Necron fucking pyramid underneath it, and the word bearers fought the fucking Elysians on it, and then they cracked the planet in half to like open up the Necron tomb.
Jordan took the latest one.
Oh boy.
Me and the boys after getting our forklift license.
I'm so sorry, Spotify listeners. I'm ruining this. Let's get back on topic.
Man. No,
what is the topic? What is the topic?
Probably time to close this thing off soon, though.
We do, but just to let you know, if you guys want to know how terrifying the World Eaters can be, this is a cool piece from the Fall of Cadia book. There's this one story in the Fall of Cadia book where this dude is running, like his entire squad gets blown up, and it's just him and a squad of World Eaters, and he just starts running. He's running through this building as this World Eater dude is just running after him with dual chainsaws, and he gets to the edge of this 30-story building, and he looks at the World Eater, he looks at the ground and just says, welp, I'd rather fall and die. And then he jumps for it, and the fucking World Eater catches him by his foot and just says, oh, you have at least a few more hours to live, my boy.
Oh, wow, that's all God.
It just look at him like, oh, it's not, and that dude's brother is in the book too, and he's like trying to take this field when a drop pod, like his whole squad is just getting obliterated by these dudes, and a drop pod of Imperial Fists like come down, and just like the group of Chaos people that have been slaughtering his men are now just being obliterated by the squad of Imperial Fists. And he's just like, and he gets scared because he's like, oh my god, there's nothing really distinguishing the guys who were falling to Chaos and me. I am so freaking dead. And this one dude just puts a bolt pistol in his face, looks at him, and then peels off his helmet and just goes, we on the same side, puts his helmet back on, and then just jumps on a Chaos dude and rips his arms off.
Oh god.
I was just like, this is such a brutal brutal world. But okay, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up the podcast. We usually do. On that note of people having their arms ripped out of their sockets, Jordan, you gotta do me a favor, because I want to talk to you so much about the Cadians. You've got to do me a favor and stop reading omnibuses. It's 2 freaking books. It's 2 books.
I know. Look, let me finish the Word Bearers omnibus, because I'm on like the second half of the last book in it.
Okay.
And then I will begin Cadia Stands and Cadian Honor.
Because it literally is. It's 2 books. It's one of the new parts of female representation in the story, and it's fucking brutal. Oh, sorry. Before we end, no, never mind. It's not important.
Okay, well, in that case, that being said, I appreciate the listening to this scatterbrain piece of shit.
Knock, I'm so sorry.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Any closing thoughts from you guys? Let's